Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show, 9 a.m., Mile High City, Denver's top talk radio show, left, right, center debate program where you're invited to be a part of the conversation. Andy No out with an article, I got inside those signal chats used by far-left extremists in Minnesota. Here's what I saw. I'll give you this and more coming up after the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Tuesday morning, 33, Tony Dorsett. And mostly cloudy in Denver, expecting a high of 47, John Lynch. Today, news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a meeting is expected to be held today between border czar Tom Homan and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fraudulent Fry. Yes, there are tensions in Minnesota cold because authorities allowed paid protesters to raise hell. But how do they get paid to do all this? Bill O'Reilly explaining here. There's an American billionaire who lives in China. This is just one of them. He's a commie, Neville Roy Singham, works with the Chinese government, funneling cash here to make these protests and riots happen through 501s.
Connecticut-born, 71 years old, billionaire tech guy. He is funneling money here to these radical organizations who are then agitating professional people, communists mostly, because Singham's a communist, all right, to go in and foster rebellion. You heard that story reported? That is absolutely true. The man has been investigated by the FBI in the past, this Singham character, okay? This isn't some organic thing. This is a foreign power, Beijing, using this American citizen who lives openly in Shanghai in luxury, knowing that this man is funneling tens of millions, probably more, into this country to try to destroy the government. What the deuce is that? Where are you, New York Times? All right? That's the second part of the story. There's a local federal story, and there's the international story. And I've had it. You don't like what I'm saying? Blank you.
Tom Homan is taking over as Trump's point person.
What the deuce is that?
What
That's
the
going to be
deuce?
my nose
I'm right
I want
there
to
with
clip
you.
that, make it on Instagram Reels.
Yes.
What the deuce is that?
I
I'll do
hate
a
that I
picture of
didn't
myself
think
in
of
the
that.
morning. What the deuce is that?
Ringtone, alarm clock. I love it. I hate I didn't think of that. I really do. That's a good one. Let's see. Minneapolis is just crazy right now. So the top Border Patrol official Greg Bavino is returning to his old position in California. Michael Doherty is running.
By the way, did you ever see the New York Times article on his jacket?
No.
So the border chief dude wears a jacket. He wears a trench coat, and he's got like buttons on the other side. Great coat. Yeah, he wears a great coat. And they're like, I gotta find the headline of this. It was basically like, when your jacket makes you a Nazi or something like that from the New York Times. It's just like,
really?
Jackets. Wow. And I went out there, and it took 5 seconds to Google Jimmy Carter wearing trench coats and a great coat and all that stuff. No, but when this guy does it, it makes him a Nazi.
Oh, that's great, man. They are hard hitting. They do their investigations,
right,
man.
Right. New York Times.
Yes.
New York Times. Your jacket makes you a Nazi.
Oh, God. Unbelievable. So Michael Doherty, he's running for AG in Colorado, and he was on with the fellas this morning. His priority, guess what? To make the state safer. That's a good idea. And protect Colorado's citizens.
Public safety so high that they will not bring their family to Denver. They won't bring their kids to a Nuggets game or a Rockies game. But they also noted that they're not actually sure who to believe when they hear about the crime numbers. And I think that speaks to the need to restore trust in government and to have leaders with integrity who are not hyperpartisan. And throughout my entire career, I've been fighting for justice and doing it with integrity. And when it comes to community safety, we can do a lot to improve the laws here in Colorado, but also to make sure those laws are being enforced equally and fairly. That's the kind of work I've done my entire career, and that's what I'm going to do as your next Attorney General.
Yeah, and he's a Democrat, and we appreciate him coming on the show this morning. And he knows all about crime. He used to work night court in New York. He said he knows what it feels like to get on a train after court. So, yes, night court is real. So, we have to play a little bit.
What do we have here? A little friction twixt the old Trekkies and the new?
Yes, sir. They were involved in a brawl that broke out of their convention during a seminar on the role of androids on Starfleet command vehicles. Don't you guys ever just get loaded and hire a stripper?
Captain Kirk would never have allowed androids on the bridge. Rules are rules.
Oh, yeah? He didn't seem to have any trouble breaking the Prime Directive anytime he felt like it.
Go suck on a tribble.
Go sit on a phaser.
Man, all this Greek stuff, I have no idea what they just said, but love Night Court. And maybe he could put it in his marketing campaign here. But I'll go with Doherty any day over the Grizzy factor. 47 will be in the home of the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones today. The White House says his speech in Clive, Iowa will focus on affordability and energy. It's the latest stop in DJT's tour to tout his economic accomplishments. It's time to eliminate the Federal Reserve, please. I won't hold my breath. The Fed's two-day policy meeting of the year is underway this morning. The central bank is widely expected to announce interest rates will remain unchanged. In December, the Fed cut interest rates by a 0.25 percentage point. Another government shutdown deadline is looming for Congress. Senate Democrats are working to speed up the passage.
I feel like it's just, golly, another government shutdown.
Yep. They are just clowns.
I mean,
Blah, 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 blah.
we are a government of the people, by the people, and for the people.
Yep. Got their insider trading going on.
90% educated in government-run schools.
Unbelievable. Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million now, and she hates America. Incredible. God, this has
I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to go back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the hell do you trust these people with your health care and your education?
So true. Guys,
Break
so
free.
true,
Break
man.
free, baby.
Amen to that. Amen. Cold weather alerts still in effect for more than 175 million Americans today. The dangerously cold temperatures are impacting those in the Gulf Coast all the way up to the Great Lakes. There was a private plane, a business plane that crashed in Bangor, Maine. They didn't de-ice it, evidently. That's what they're investigating. They said they did, but I mean, it was freezing. You got all types of stuff going on because of the weather. Let's see. Several backcountry skiers, speaking of the cold, recovering from various extreme cold injuries over the weekend near Aspen. Pitkin County Sheriff's Office says that one was unresponsive, another in critical condition, and a few more had frostbite, vision loss, and other cold-related injuries. Can't play with the cold. Care Flight made 3 attempts to land due to bad weather, then took the victims to the hospital. No other details released. Hopefully they will all recover. Got NBA tonight, the Pistons and the Nuggies, as the Nuggets await the return of Jokic, maybe in just over a week, hopefully. The Avalanche and the Senators will hit the ice tomorrow at 5:30. 30 in North Glen, 31 in Littleton, 33 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill. It is Tuesday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
A cool, quiet day along the Front Range. Temperatures today will be in the 40s under partly cloudy to cloudy skies. Lows tonight, low to mid-20s. Upper 40s and lower 50s for Wednesday. We'll have a few more clouds around tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, and Wednesday, and the mountains will see a few snow showers. Thursday and Friday will generally be partly cloudy with temperatures 40s and 50s Thursday, a little bit cooler into the 40s for Friday. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Text messages hot this morning, 7061. Hey, guys, I'm curious. Is Joe from Arvada a paid agitator?
No, he does it in his volunteer time.
Yeah, right.
For the good of the community, yes. And to piss me off.
Yeah,
Which is great.
He's sent from one of your family members.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I'm sure. Yes, exactly.
Peach Queen texted in, Mary is such an amazing woman. I always look forward to her calls. I'm so sorry to hear about her diagnosis. I lost 2 friends in just the last 6 months from Alzheimer's disease. Praying for Mary.
Yeah. It is awesome. I'm sending her all of your thoughts and ideas and well wishes and everything else. Yeah, we're letting her know. So thank you so much. This is a great. Yeah, she's loved by the show. She's loved by us. That's a hard one. But yeah.
ILJ, I pray every day for these different types of diseases. One of them is Alzheimer's. I will keep Mary in my prayers. Prayers to Mary. She is the best. That is from 8422. Brad from Parker, since when did the Don't Tread on Me party become the Comply or Die party? Fascinating. Yeah, the shift that's taken place in some of the dynamics around Minneapolis is fascinating to watch. All of a sudden, progressives get very interested in Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
And a reminder, it's going to take 3 days for you to get your gun, and you're going to pay a whole bunch of taxes and go through training.
It was rather intriguing to hear Kash Patel, head of the FBI, make a statement that carrying a firearm to a protest is illegal. He said that was a crime. And
May
he's
not
the head
be
of the FBI.
smart, but I don't think it's a crime. Yeah, and I heard the NRA had to issue.
Oh yeah, yeah. The NRA had to do a tamp down on hey, and what they did is they made a statement about stop claiming that someone that hasn't had anything more than a parking ticket and is a legal gun owner and concealed carry permit carrier is somehow a violent terrorist bent on evil and destruction.
Well, we may have to see with these signal chats. Here's Andy No. I got inside the signal chats used by far-left extremists in Minnesota, and here's what I saw. Inside the paranoia consuming the far-left encrypted chat rooms that are organizing the mass mobilization against the U.S. government. This mass mobilization agitation now unfolding in Minneapolis and St. Paul by far-left open border extremists bears the hallmarks of a coordinated and professional operation designed to obstruct federal law enforcement. Like I mentioned earlier, no one cares if you are coordinated and it's a professional operation to just protest. That is the March for Life. That's pretty much every protest that takes place downtown. It's coordinated with a professional operation. Someone's got to bring the sound equipment, for instance. But what they have engaged in is starting to obstruct federal law enforcement. Andy No continues. None of this should come as a surprise. These tactics are the evolution of methods tested during the deadly 2020 BLM Antifa riots, which were centered largely in the Twin Cities. In recent weeks, numerous Antifa-linked revolutionary anarchist collectives have promoted organizing guides that explicitly instruct extremists on how to carry out obstructionist campaigns. These materials consistently recommend the encrypted message app Signal as the primary tool for coordination. Alex Preddy and Renee Good, two leftist activists shot dead this month, may have been part of these groups. It's not clear, though. What are militants saying to one another inside these chats? Well, journalist Cam Higbee and others have documented Signal has become the preferred platform for mass coordination used to share real-time locations, vehicle descriptions, and individual targets, as well as tips for minimizing legal accountability. Several high-level Democrat politicians and operatives were allegedly present in some of these groups, though this has not been independently confirmed. There are dozens of Signal chats currently active among far-left extremists in Minnesota. Many are ad hoc, short-lived, and frequently deleted in an effort to destroy evidence. He was able to access several of the chats and has posted snapshots. The prevailing mood inside these groups is one of distrust and paranoia. Public scrutiny, particularly from users on X, has focused increasing attention on the role these Signal chats play in coordinating obstructionist conspiracies. Nearly all users operate under aliases. Administrators are actively purging participants they suspect to be right-wingers or federal agents. Auto-deleting messages are enabled by default to destroy evidence. Right-wingers are trying to get into many of the chats right now, warned an administrator. Never put anything in Signal you don't want read back in court. No Signal group can fully protect you from unfriendly eyes. So this has become an effort, from my perspective, to kind of coordinate these obstructionist activities. And if you weren't actively interfering with law enforcement, I don't think people would care that much. But because they are driving their cars, throwing ice blocks, tracking these cars, this now pushes into obstructionist domestic terrorist activities. What do you think? Give us a call. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Capitalist Law text line at 720-819-5115. Let's go to Marcus in Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Morning, guys. Hey, it was nice that Jeff Bridges was on your radio show yesterday. I'm not voting for him, but DeTaber and everything, at least he's an honest guy. We need to let it change. Great. I wish more Democrats would come on and hear their opinions, and that was very nice. Now back to the border. Those protesters are told to not carry ID, even if they have a weapon. Don't carry a CDL, and the bricks and everything, and yet they get to wear a mask and bring in bricks and ice bottles and everything. So something's just not right about this.
No, I agree with you, Marcus. It's pushing past just protests. There's protests across the country where you're not seeing this. Conservatives protest regularly down at the state capitol. You don't see this. It is at a different level of active interference with lawful operations. And there's going to be a chapter in the Darwin Awards for people who thought the best thing they should do with their day is go actively interfere with federal law operations. They could protest. No one is concerned about that, but they're putting their cars, they're putting their bodies right in the middle of operations with people carrying guns. That's crazy to me. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, it is crazy. Yet it's a small majority of the population. People just don't get it. If people are out there working, trying to get to work, and they got to go through all this crap, it's a really small percentage of the population, which is really crazy.
Now, Marcus, got a question. Now, you talked about the idea that these people and the protesters, they bring, frozen water bottles and bricks, and their intent is to harm. And that's what we heard from the administration about Mr. Peretti, that he was there absolutely with the intention to inflict a maximum damage on those ICE agents. Did you, based on the videos or what you've read about it, did you view any of that violence during that scenario? Were they throwing bricks? Were they hurling water bottles? Did they throw snowballs at them? Anything? What was the violent agitation or aggressiveness that you saw inside of that group before Peretti lost his life?
Well, what I saw after that happened, that night, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, but that might be in reaction to it, Marcus. I'm talking about prior to. Yeah. And this is the important part. When we sit here and say, oh my gosh, these agitators, these people that are on the signal chat that without any proof are paid protesters from some sort of foreign entity or whatever it is, and they're so violent, yet we see the video inside of Minneapolis over the weekend, it's the same problem, I think, that the Trump administration had on messaging. I mean, you had Christine Noem and other people come out immediately saying that he went at the ICE agents with his firearm drawn with an intent to cause, and they used it. I think it was maximum damage or maximum carnage. None of that was true. So if we're talking about these protesters being angry, aggressive, violent, what explains then that we didn't see that inside of that video?
Well, that's one particular incident, but you've had a 3,200% surge in ICE officers facing car attacks compared to the same previous period.
Are they?
You've had assaults. You've had an increase of 1,347% increase in total assaults, 8,000% increase in death threats.
Yeah, and it's also
and
there's
Bill,
some
you're
of that.
going, well, because in that video that didn't happen. It's not happening.
Well, no, it's not that I didn't say this not happening, but I'm saying that this description that all these protesters are going out there bent on violence isn't being proven based on what we have seen.
Nobody said all the protesters.
No, that's the idea. No, the idea is Andy No got into the signal check and look how violent they are. Look at this. They're actually organizing in order to do this and cause all this harm. Yet we're not seeing that in some of the videos. In some of the videos we are seeing it, and that would be appropriate. And and some of the idea. Yeah, that's the idea, is that we're assuming that they're all super violent, and that's not what we're seeing inside of the protest. And we talk about them ramming the cars. Remember, when Renee Good, after her death, the first thing the administration said was that she was trying to ram her car into the ICE agents.
She did.
That wasn't, no, hang on.
That's exactly what happened.
No, she said the initial statement was ramming it into their vehicle. It's not what happened. What they said happened didn't happen.
Okay, go ahead, Marcus.
No, accuracy is important in this situation. Yeah, Marcus.
Can I ask you just one question?
Yeah, go right ahead.
If you were going to a protest, would you take a gun with you?
Here's the thing. What I want to know is, do you think that going to a protest, does that mean that I do not get the ability to then exercise my Second Amendment rights? Is that invalid at that time?
You're a peaceful protest. Would you take a gun to a protest? I wouldn't.
Well, and again, he wasn't just protesting, guys. These are actively interfering with lawful operations.
He was standing in the street right beforehand, Marcus,
Aurora,
and that's the idea.
I appreciate the call. Thanks so much.
And talk about that, the idea of, would you bring a gun to a protest? There were a lot of people that showed up with firearms on January 6th. There are a lot of people that showed up with weapons. Are we asking the same question at that point? Did you? No, it's more about what you did with it once you had it there. And I have a hard time, again, we had a texter saying it's interesting to see the don't tread on me Second Amendment supporters now say you must obey. It's interesting that that's been flipped just based on what happened over the weekend.
All right. And as I said, it's interesting to see the left all of a sudden get interested in the Second Amendment. All right. Let's talk Guy Reese, folks. My wife and I have been looking to update our home for a while. We took a big first step. We went to Guy Reese. They're all over the Denver metro area. We went to the one in Parker. Had an absolutely fantastic experience. We sat down with their professional designers who showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. I was a little overwhelmed at first. I've never worked with a professional designer. But she walked us through everything and helped us find the perfect options to enhance the look and functionality of our home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Gyrie's has the solutions for you. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. Here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come to you, so you can get the same expert advice we got in our home right in yours. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit Gyrie's.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Gyrie's. You'll be sure to thank me. All right, we'll continue with phone calls. They're hot. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
on this Tuesday, 9:30.
Text messages are off.
Jeff and Bill Show. Text messages super hot. Here's my favorite one so far this morning, 7375. Why would you bring a gun to a protest when you could bring a guitar?
Yeah. People should ask Kyle Rittenhouse about that one.
Yeah, he wasn't interfering with law enforcement, was he?
Did bring a gun to a protest, though, didn't he? And
Yeah, seems to be like the big difference between those two being alive or not.
That was the premise.
Who are you messing around with?
The issue is you weren't supposed to bring a firearm to a protest. That's what Kash Patel said to the FBI, that it was illegal.
Let's go to the phone lines. John in Lakewood. Good morning, John. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning. Good show. I haven't had too much time lately to listen to the news, but I felt pretty good this morning. I don't care much for Governor Walz, but I think our system might be working. He actually called Trump. Am I right?
Yeah, and the mayor of Minneapolis. I mean, John, okay, give me your impression of the fact that we have both sides now talking.
What I think is our country is based on a two-party system. One guy watching the other guy. Am I kind of right on that?
Yeah, in many ways, yeah.
Well,
that's why Colorado.
I think Walz is in a position now that he has to do something. And there's a little bit of blame on both sides. But maybe the system is working. Do I make any sense at all?
Sure,
yeah,
John.
you do.
I do.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
And what I love, John, about that most is, and thanks for the phone call, is the fact that you said it's great they are finally talking. Okay, now I'm going to pull back the curtain here a little bit. That one of the things that has basically ingratiated us, this show, into the Salem hierarchy is the fact that we have these kinds of discussions with you. And it's so unusual, not only just in Denver, Colorado, but across the country. It is the idea that, as John from Lakewood said, we're talking to each other, not just screaming at each other across social media.
I prefer to throw donuts at Bill, but
yes,
we'll get to that later.
I'm still trying to catch him in the mouth like a seal.
Phone line open. Jump in. John's line is open, 303-696-1971. Let's talk Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. Dan suggests you should choose a lawyer who shares your values because who you choose to represent you in an injury case says a lot about you to everyone involved in the case. Dan Caplis, the son of a police officer and a former seminarian who's dedicated the last 40 years of his life to helping people who've been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law, the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call, 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit dancaplisLaw.com. That's Dan, CAPLIS Law.com. All right, text messages, 6268, Kyle Rittenhouse was protecting his family business. And if he hadn't had a gun, he'd probably be dead.
He crossed state lines. I don't think he was protecting his family business.
He was protecting somebody's business. But
I know, but not family
that
business.
Interesting
That's
point
different.
that he was getting attacked by the left. If he hadn't had his gun, he'd probably be dead. Huh.
I don't know. I'm not certain that would or would not be true. We don't know that, and we can cast aspersions. But again, he crossed state lines, brought firearms with him, and went to a protest. If that is not aggressive behavior, then you need to explain to me why Peretti, with a lawful concealed carry permit, was involved in aggressive behavior. When one person in that example had the guns out for everyone to see, the other one was a concealed carry permit holder.
3187 saying Peretti is accountable for the result of his clown criminal act. Ooh. Text in. All right, let's go to Joe in Denver. Good morning, Joe. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Hey, just a couple of things, Jeff. You know, the arguments you're making about using social media to coordinate a protest, sort of automatically making you a domestic terrorist. Am I understanding that statement right?
No, I didn't say that.
You said if you use Signal to coordinate an event, that's domestic terrorism.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, I guess I just misunderstood that.
Because actually what I did say was that people coordinate all the time. And every protest is coordinated and professional because somebody needs to bring the sound equipment, for instance, or hire security or breeding a podium. I've organized lots of protests. Organizing protests on Signal or whatever other social media chat you're doing is not an act of terrorism. But what is happening in Minneapolis is the coordination of active interference with lawful operations that are taking place out there. So what they're using Signal to
January
do,
6th.
what they're doing on
like January 6th.
Yeah, and the FBI prosecuted people on January 6th. So do you think the FBI should prosecute people here?
Trump.
Do you think that the FBI
are they all going to get pardoned?
Well, I'm asking you,
sure.
do you think they should be prosecuted? Don't give me the Trump excuse. If they prosecuted people in January 6th, why not prosecute these people?
From the videos that I've seen, I'm sure there's some that deserve to be arrested and prosecuted. But the video specifically to the two killings, I think are questionable. Renee Good probably should have just stayed in her car and let the guys drive around her because she wasn't blocking the entirety of the road. Pretty was just basically sitting there on the sidewalk filming what was going on when agents approached him. And that's what I got a problem with, are these agents are approaching these protesters and just spraying them with bear spray, So I don't get how spraying this guy Pretty with bear spray, right? He wasn't attacking anybody. He was going to help a woman that got shoved to the ground by an ICE officer. And then for that act of trying to help her, he got bear sprayed, tackled to the ground, beaten, kicked by like 6 guys who then ended up shooting him because one of them is an idiot. And I'm sorry, but I can't see that video any other way. And to think that our federal government has more rights to go after people than people have to go after the government is troubling to me. You talk about license plate cameras. Well, if you support the flock cameras and you think it's okay for government to track your license plate, then it's okay for citizens to track a government license plate, and I don't care what you say about it.
Well, to what end?
It's just
what like they're not just out there going, well, here's a list of everyone's license plates. They're using it to actively interfere. They're driving their cars to interfere. So if that was any other government agency, DEA, anything else like that, and you were actively interfering with some DEA operation, driving your car in front of it, throwing ice at them, ice blocks, you'd get in trouble.
Yeah, I think. Well, look, we're going to disagree on this, but I think the government is being unnecessarily aggressive in executing these immigration raids. And the difference between why Obama was so successful compared to Trump is that Obama didn't dehumanize every non-white person in this country and just call people nasty names all the time. He was pretty much, these people need to go, they're criminals, and I don't want a lot of drama about it, and everybody shut up and let them do it.
I also remember Obama saying that we cling to our guns and our religion and demonizing those people. Right. So I don't think that's an excuse for what's happening here. Joe, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right, let's talk modern rugged leather. From city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go everywhere life takes you. That's why at Modern Rugged Leather, every bag is handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather, designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. Each stitch, buckle, and strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime warranty because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. So whether it's in the boardroom or the back roads, Modern Rugged Leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. Modern Rugged Leather, modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Life takes you places. Make sure your gear can keep up. Shop the full collection and find yours today at modernrugged.com. That's modernrugged.com. Modernrugged.com. All right, let's go to Larry in Denver. Good morning, Larry. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. First of all, just to slow myself down, but let me ask you this question. Jeff and Bill, just quick, what is the this name of music that you feel like is calming to you, that soothes you down and calms you down and gives you peace? What type of music?
Ooh.
Not rage metal.
How about ska? Ska for Jeff, absolutely.
Oh, gosh, that's going to give me a headache.
I know. I'm teasing him on this one. But go ahead, my friend.
Ska. Yeah, no, mostly classical or country or something.
Yeah, for me, my go-to, again, I reach into classical because that's what I grew up with, or in and around my family. The radio in my family was on 24/7, 98% of the time it was on classical music. So I grew up listening. So that is something that's very calming. I do have some other more obscure bands that I will kind of lean into. Shout out to people that understand obscure 80s new wave for bands, things like the Cockatoo Twins. I lean
Larry,
into.
you
Annie
asked a question. We're going way down. You don't ask
Annie
Billy music questions. But go ahead, please.
I will stop myself there, Larry. Yeah, but continue.
No, good. Because the reason why I asked that is that I think it's all relational, and relative. Because you say classical or whatever, and then I agree with you with that. But if you look at it, and what if you turn the music and the music could get turned up and it can be at 7 decibels, but you turn the classical music up and now, or whatever it is that calms you, but you turn it up so loud, you can't enjoy it. And matter of fact, it can end up harming you. So it doesn't give.
We can do William Tell Overture, a couple other things. Yeah, absolutely. Brahms has got some stuff that's really, really high energy.
So So that brings me back to is I'm listening to, and I'm just this whole period, and I'm looking at our president, Donald Trump, and what he continues to do, in my opinion, he keeps stuffing defeat down the mouth of victory. He overdoes it. It's just like if you have a ounce of cologne that's worth $1,000, and you put a little bit on, it smells good. But if you put too much on, people around you get nauseated.
Yeah, but Larry, and I understand, but you have to look at, there were two fundamental issues here that were in opposition to each other. You had, from the progressive Democrat wing, we are going to be a sanctuary state. We are not going to work with ICE agents. We are going to protect the immigrants in our communities from the federal government deportation effort. It was, they are here, they are part of the community. It was Denver hanging up the "We Heart Immigrants." That was one worldview. The other one was, no, you are here illegally, you have to go. And they just kept going, well, no, I'm going, if you're going to be a sanctuary state, we're going to increase federal ICE operations. Well, if you're going to increase federal ICE operations, we're going to increase protests. Okay, if you're going to increase protests, we're going to even bring in more troops to run our ICE operations. It just kept one-upping each other until there was a breaking point, and now both sides are going, okay, let's negotiate here. And that's what you're seeing from Tim Walz and Fry, is that we're going to adjust our system and work with you now. And that's what Trump had to do. Otherwise, you just have amnesty up there.
Okay. No, one thing I'm saying is that I don't know that. All I'm just saying is that, I feel like, the Trump administration, sometimes they're using a baseball mitt to do the pulse of America. Now, if you look at it and you're going around, and that's why I say you stuffing defeat down the mouth of, victory, is like, how do you stir the hornet nest of the NRA? So what he's doing is that they're going in and they're doing these things. There's people who say, yeah, get them. But now you're throwing the grenades and tank. Now you're running over the First Amendment, the second. And it's all getting confused. So what ends up happening, you're losing your positions. Now, this is my other point, too. It's interesting to me because I listen to people all the time And then what I'm looking at, and people say they don't like lies, they don't like conspiracy theories and stuff, but it seems like they become a useful weapon if they're not pointed at you. And I look at people who are saying, like Candace Owens been throwing negative, crazy stuff out there, but when it gets pointed at Kurt's wife, then she's bad. Tucker Carlson's been doing this whatever in the day, but when it gets pointed at Jews, it's bad. But conspiracy theories are very useful until it's pointed in different directions.
Until you're the one in power, too. Yeah. No, Larry, you got a lot of wisdom, Larry. You got a lot of wisdom.
Thanks,
That's Larry from Denver. I appreciate it. All right. How about a simple New Year's resolution, one that even I could achieve? Reverse the clock on hair loss with Advanced Hair's simple one-day FUE treatment. You'll feel more confident and more youthful when you witness your own natural hair growing into those places that have been balding or thinning for years. From Advanced Hair's breakthrough technology to their highly experienced team, there's no one I trust more in hair restoration. Their simple FUE treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. Simply put, Advanced Hair's exceptional standard of care makes your comfort and your results their top priority. Celebrate this new year with a fuller head of hair and get a free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR. Discover what meeting your resolution could look like with the before and after pictures at Advanced Hair. That's advancedhair.com. All right, we'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's talk leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Minneapolis, Minnesota continues to dominate the news as Trump sending Tom Homan in to oversee immigration enforcement operations. Walz reaching out to Trump, looking to cooperate with federal government. The shootings continue to dominate as well, 8422. I personally don't think deadly force was necessary in that case, but I wasn't there, and I don't know all the details. I looked at it 100 times. And I think there were mistakes made. But the point I'm trying to make is the footage that we see, it's mass chaos. But the chaos is caused by the agitators. They are creating the chaos.
I disagree with the statement mass chaos. There were less than 20 people there. Where in that video did we see mass chaos? I submit things like what we saw some of the nights during the Black Lives Matter protest is mass chaos. Some, but not all, of the video that we saw in and around the Capitol on January 6th is mass chaos. I see mass chaos in those events. I don't any time inside of those videos, and there have been videos that have been released that are up to 3 minutes prior to the incident, I don't see any mass chaos. And I think that's the problem in this discussion that we're having. We seem to be ascribing a whole bunch of motivations on the protesters' parts, and we seem to be describing this situation closer to what the administration did. The administration has categorized it as a riot. There were less than 20 people. I didn't see any riot behavior. Maybe somebody saw it differently through that video. And that they said Peretti was aggressive, approached the ICE agents with a firearm and was trying to inflict maximum damage. None of that's portrayed by the video. So when we say that they were there to cause mass chaos, I want to see the mass chaos, because if that's mass chaos, do not walk into an elementary school lunchroom. Just don't do it. You'll have no idea. You will lose your mind. Your brain will explode if you saw that on the video and thought that was mass chaos. Wait to see lunch.
Let's talk Colorado Christian University. Faith, family, freedom. These are the values that define the American tradition and are increasingly under attack. The Centennial Institute at Colorado Christian University is dedicated to remaining a committed voice for Christian conservative principles through their public events, publications, and student initiatives. They are committed to delivering world-class programming that empowers citizens of all ages to stand boldly for conservative values and engage with the pressing issues of the day with grace and truth. The need to promote principled conservatism and train the next generation of conservative leaders to speak with moral clarity and conviction is more urgent than ever. Join the Centennial Institute at Colorado Christian University in their work to recommit the culture to faith, family, freedom, and future. Learn more at centennial.ccu.edu. That's centennial.ccu.edu. All right, Billy, you see things calming down in Minnesota?
Yes. But I think that I'm being a little bit optimistic on that one. I'm hoping, for me, it's the idea of the change in who's in charge puts a new coat of paint on the barn. Whether or not we've changed the structure, does it at least give enough of a change in appearance to have people view it as a different barn? I'm hopeful that it is. And I'm also hopeful that people that are involved in the protest, there are going to be some agitators that are going to think, hey, we've got them so close to the edge, we need to do this now and raise the stakes. And I hope the people involved in that will not do that need to understand the importance of keeping the temperature down and setting a good example when you're out there protesting.
This is really easy. This is not complicated. Coordinate with ICE. That's the key word. Coordinate with ICE. This pushing people that have been arrested, and Bill, you even brought it up with Michael Dougherty, out the door for crimes and making ICE chase them through the parking lots is stupid. All right? You want to have a discussion, debate about immigration law, that happens in Congress. You don't think that people that came here and are not living violent lives and are just quietly doing their thing, you want to debate ICE's ability to deport them? That debate takes place in Congress. It doesn't take place in the streets actively interfering with federal law enforcement operations. So we'll see. I think Democrats have learned their lesson on this. It doesn't work out with Trump. And if you want peaceful communities, coordinate with ICE. It's that simple. But we'll have to see. Jeff and Bill Show will be back tomorrow. If you missed any of it, go to 710knus.com to download your podcast. And the debates will continue. As always, this show is about your voice. So feel free to jump in, mix it up with us anytime. You're not going to hurt our feelings. Bill and I are made special that way. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. You've been listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
He called me special. We will see you tomorrow. This is Denver's Talk Leader. We're 710 KNUS.